Hi everyone, and welcome to the TinkerCAD Challenge. This month is July. It is 2023. And I know last year I had the same challenge. This was the Derby car, so this was the one I made last year. But this year I had decided to do kind of a similar challenge. We're making a more streamlined version of a Derby car. You get the wheels added with it. And then this month I've also included the new feature that TinkerCAD has offered. It's called the Sim Lab. So in this TinkerCAD challenge, not only will you learn how to make one of these and get a free print, but you can also learn how to work the Sim Lab in TinkerCAD. And you are welcome to if you want to explore trying out this design as well. But really, like a lot of my designs are, these are all open-ended projects, so you can make your car look as detailed or as streamlined as you want. Now I did paint this one, so this one has multiple colors, but it was painted. And then this one I just left it as the black color. So once you're done with the 3D print, let me know and I can print out whatever color you want printed. As well as if you have any questions or need any extra assistance for a one-on-one appointment, please contact me as well through the email. Otherwise, I hope you enjoy this month's challenge and make a really cool derby car. My page open and we are building a 3D design. So this is what we're going to do. I found this very basic toy car tutorial. I'm going to go over and how to make it from what I'm reading, so just follow along as I go. And I'm going to do my initials, type them into the description up here, and type in derby car. Or just derby is fine too. Now, first thing you want to do, by the way, this tutorial is all going to be using basic shapes in here. So this is the basic shape menu. If you click on basic shapes, you will see other options in here. We're probably going to explore the wheels a little later on, but we're just going to use basic shapes for now to build the body of the car. Right now I'm dragging a box onto the work plane. And now I'm going to click on one of the white corners, and I'm going to make sure that the width of the car is going to be 25, so I'm going to change this side. And then the length, I'm going to click on this box and type in 65. So this is the easiest way I like to change the size. You can also do this, but it changes very quickly. So I usually show you the way to type it in just to keep it more stabilized. Now, because I just changed all my measurements, I'm going to click on the undo and bring it back to the size I want. So this is undo, this is redo. If you select any object and click this is the trash, so delete it. This will duplicate any object, and these pretty much are the ones you want to look for too, as well as the grouping and ungrouping when we get to that point. Okay, now I'm going to grab a cylinder. I'm dragging that in here. I always mention this. I like to increase the sides so that it's a lot smoother when it prints. And then I want to change this to 25. This is like, I guess the width again. And this will be the length to 49. So I'm clicking on that box and type in 49. I'll set that off to the side, and I'm going to grab this roof shape. Change the width to 25. I think you're seeing a pattern here, so because we're matching the car widths, we're going to change all that to 25. This is going to be 20. And I'm going to change the top. So this is going to be the top. You can see that. That's why you have to rotate your camera so you can see the option for the top. Change this to 40. Okay, and now I'm going to grab the round roof shape, pull that onto the plane, and I'm going to rotate the camera again. And then I'm going to click on this just to zoom in to that shape a little bit so I can see what I'm doing. Clicking on the size. So once again, this is going to be 25. The length on this is going to be 53. I duplicated this, so I'm going to click on this extra one and delete it. And then the height will be 16, so I can see that that's the height because it's hard to tell, but this square is like on top, and you can actually see the line showing up and down when you select it. Change this to 16. I'm going to just hide this for now, so I'm going to click on this light bulb, hide that one, hide this one, and just focus on the box now. We're going to rotate it a little bit so you can see. So to rotate it, you can either rotate it this way, so you can see the slots going around, but we want to rotate it vertically. So I'm clicking on that So now you want to rotate 11 degrees to the right. So I'm just pulling it over and just changing that to 11. So now let's rotate. We want to pull it up to the plane a little bit. So I'm just going to pull it up like this, just for now. Now I'm going to click this light bulb to show the other ones. And I'm going to rotate this cylinder. And I'm going to rotate the camera a little bit because we're going to rotate it the other way. Rotate to 90 degrees. Another way to rotate the camera, you can always grab this top cube here and do it that way if that's a little bit easier. I'm holding down the option key, which I believe is the command or control key. Okay, now the next thing we're going to rotate is this roof. So I'm selecting it, hitting F, and we're going to rotate it 90 degrees to left. So I'm making sure that, I guess, negative 90 degrees. So now we're going to align these objects the way it's supposed to be. So I hit on this. This is an orthographic view versus perspective view. So in orthographic view, you can see it's more of 2D shape. In some ways, it's a little easier to distinguish how the... I have to change this. You know what? I realized I have to change this one, so I'm going to change it to 25. Because we have to make the width all the same, so I think I messed that up. Anyway. So now what I want to do is I want to move this one up. It's kind of having that intersect right about there. And I'm going to move that roof to move the roof. And it's going to be like right about here. So this is going to be flat. And then, so I move, this is the round roof. Now we move the roof over. This is going to be the tail end. It's more of the trunk space of the car. Okay, I'm going to switch my views to see this a little better because I know these objects are not where they're supposed to be. So now I turn my camera so I'm looking kind of the top and I'm using my mouse key to move it over. So because everything is 25, I want to make sure I just line it up accordingly. So I'm just lining up all the widths together, and obviously this roof. So I'm just going to bring this up a little bit to match the snap was set to 1 millimeter. You probably could set it at 0.5 and it should be fine. Bring it down one more, so right about there. And then pretty much all the shapes should intersect right here. So I'm going to change this to be 25. I think maybe I just didn't have it set to the right size. And I actually have to move this roof back. So this is how it's supposed to look. This is actually more in line here. So this, as soon as this has like this little intersection right here, these two edges should touch each other. Okay, so I'm going to zoom in strictly on this one so you can see it. Now this one I do have to move down a little bit. Okay, so this is roughly how it should look. Rotate it and then you can see, so you can see the shape of the car. So I'm rotating it. It reminds me of that car from the movie Cars. So it has like that rounded front, rounded top, and then kind of a slick back. Now that the car is mostly together, we have to trim some of the pieces. So we're going to pull out a couple of these boxed holes. And first thing we want to do is trim like that bottom portion so that we're going to make it more streamlined, like angled upwards. And for this one, you don't have to really worry about size as long as it covers the shape you're trying to trim. Okay, so I'm just going to bring this up. Now what I want to do, so I'm just going to rotate this. Actually, I'm going to rotate it to -20. And then I just want to make sure I get a good edge on that. So right about there, I think that would be good. Once again, making sure that the whole area is covered. See, I got this little nub right here, and I don't want that. So I'm going to make it a little bit taller. Or I could bring it down a little more. There we go. Okay. And then we're also going to make a box that's going to be straight across from here. So just doing this. So you can kind of see how you can see how it's shaping now. So I'm just going to bring that box right underneath this round roof shape, this blue shape. And then I'll just make it through the whole size just in case that maybe I miss a spot. Okay. So making sure everything is covered. I'm going to move this over just a little bit more just to make sure everything is caught. Now I'm going to select them, and the way I select all, I click off to the side, I hold my mouse down, and then I drag a little red box, the whole work plane, and you can see it says shapes and there's 7 of them. So now I'm just going to hit the group. See? So that was the problem I was hoping wouldn't happen. There's some kind of shape on here that did not get cut. So I gotta make the box a little bit taller. There we go. So that should help it out. Doing the same thing again in group, and there we go. So that is the car. Okay, so this is like a basic shaped car, how you can mold things into TinkerCAD and create a car. The last derby car I did, I just found like a few different shapes to do the same thing, but this one's more of like a streamlined like race car as you would find in like buy in store. So we're going to do one more thing. We're just going to make the holes for the wheels. So what we want to do is I'm dragging this here. Now, the new thing about TinkerCAD is they changed it that you can now drag shapes on top of like other shapes to kind of set them where they're supposed to be. So we want to do this for the wheels definitely. So I'm just dragging it right here, and you see that it automatically rotate to go right onto that car. So I'm just going to set it up there. I'm going to change the diameter to 5. I think that will be fine. Obviously it's way too high up here because we're making the axles right now, so we want to make sure that the wheel axles go where they're supposed to go. The width of the car is 25, so I'm just going to say 30 just to be on the safe side. And I'm going to hit my left arrow key and hold it down until I see that hole come up from the other side. So I think this is a good spot for the car. I think right here would be fine. Because I'm trying to consider also the weight of how a car would be, because you have more of the body over here, so it might be a little bit more heavier. So I'm going to leave the hole right here. Now I have it selected. The way I could tell is I could see all the commands. It does say cylinder up here. Now I want to click on duplicate, and now I'm just going to hold that right key, and you see that it made the exact same size, exact line of placement. I'm just going to keep holding that right arrow key until I get it close enough. I think right here should be fine. So if you want your wheels at any different location, you're welcome to put them wherever you want to for your car. Like I said, just remember, if you actually want to race it, you want to consider how an actual car is with the wheel spacing and then the weight distribution. So you don't want to put the wheels like right next to each other, because then your car will probably tip on either side and it just won't go anywhere. So I'm keeping it here, and I suggest you do somewhere similar in this line of where the car is going to be. I'm clicking on group, And now you see the holes are there for the wheels. This is a very basic car. I recommend adding some cool effects, like you can add a little headlights to it. I'm just going to put them as 5 and 5 and see where we're at. And then do a 1 up here. So you can put headlights for your car. Duplicate it and then move it over to the other side. Just remember that it does print one color, so that's the only downfall we have. Maybe someday we'll have a multicolor printing printer, but for right now we're just doing one color. So whatever color you want to print, just let me know when you're done with your car. But that's not all. I want to show you something else that you can do with your car. So I'm just adding my, just moving my little headlights down first. And I'm going to show you the neat thing about the simulation that has TinkerCAD started to offer. So I'm going to show you just what the simulation looks like. Now, you don't have to do this part, but I just wanted to showcase this because it's very neat. And if you want to try this out yourself just to see what you can do, you're welcome to try it out. So this is what this is for. If you are already done with your car and you're ready to have it print, you don't, like I say, you don't have to worry about going through the rest of this. But let me show you what the sim lab looks like. So right now I just ungrouped it because I want to grab this cylinder, because instead of making a whole new cylinder, filling in the box, I'm just going to duplicate it to save some time. And I'm going to make sure it's a solid. It's usually, so this indicates it's a hole, this indicates it's a solid. So now with the solid, I'm going to increase the length of it. I'll change it to 40. And now I'm going to smooth this over a little bit. And I hid the whole piece, so I'm just going to unhide it. And then I'm going to duplicate this cylinder. Oh, I changed the length to 40. Let me change the axle size. I don't know if it'll really matter, but for the simulation purposes, I'll just do this anyway, just to see, because I don't know if, once you group everything, I don't know how far in physics does it take it. So just duplicate this and do the same thing. I'm just holding my right key on the keyboard so that it moves over to the same spot. I'll move it down just a little bit. Same with this one. Trying to get it even in the middle as I possibly can. Also want to make sure that I move them over. So now I'm going to select headlights, car, group, the holes, car, group. Okay, and now the axles. I'm holding shift as I select. Click on select everything. Group. Okay. Now I'm going to look for a wheel, and I'm just going to click this little magnifying glass to search it. Okay, so I just clicked on this one, and I'm going to change the size. I'm just try 20 by 20 for now, and I can always go back and change it. And it's very thick, so 20 by 20, and let's do 10 for this side. Okay. Okay, change it to 8. So that's 20 by 20, and then the height is going to be 8. Or the width in this case, because we are going to rotate it. So I'm rotating it to 90. I'm going to move it up. Using my right arrow just to get right in the middle there. You can see it kind of goes in the middle of the axle. And now I'm going to duplicate this and move it over. Okay, now I'm going to do the duplication and then move it. Just rotate my camera, duplicate it, and now I'm just going to send it right through the car. Now I'm going to click on this wheel in the back, duplicate, and just do the same thing. So now that we have the car all done, I'm going to make sure it's all grouped. And I'm going to make it smaller, and I'm going to show you how if you make a ramp, and I'm just going to make a simple ramp. I'm not going to do anything crazy with it. So I'm closing this out while it's grouping. I'm going to pull out a box, drag it on the plane. I'm going to make this car 50 by 25 by 12. So it's 50 long, 25 across, and 12 height. There's a reason too, because you need to have everything on the work plane in order to do the simulation. So right now I'm just pulling out a box. I'm going to make the length 40. I'm bring up the height to 100. Now I want to make a ramp per thing to come off it. So I'm dragging the wedge tool. I'm bringing it on here. I rotate it negative 90 degrees. Okay, and now I'm going to make the height about the same, and I'm going to bring out the width. So I made the height, it's 99, make it 100. And then the length is going to be 166. And the width, I want to make it just as wide as the box. So let's pull it out to 40. I'm just going to pull out each side and equal it out. Now I'm going to add a little extra backing to the box so we could put the car on top. So I'm going to make this, I'm just going to make it go all the way to the end of the work plane. So it's 31 across. So it's 40 width, 31 length. I'm just making sure they all line up. Now I want to bring the car to the top. Okay, so this is just my basic ramp base and then the car. So let's hit the simulation part of it, which is going to be this apple with an apple with a falling looking motion lines to it. Okay, so it's configuring everything. Right now the material is plastic, so I'll leave it like that. And down here you'll see a little play button, so let's play it. So you see, because I didn't build anything to catch it, it kind of just fell off. So I'm going to reset it and try again. You can see it roll off into nothingness. I could click on this and change the material. Let's try bouncy rubber and see what happens. And you see once I change the material, even the outside of it changed to kind of mimic that material. So let me hit play. Okay, so you see so it's trying to like mimic the whole weight, like the friction of what the car would do. So you see the friction here, density, mass, and volume, and that equals 1. So let me change it to ice, and you should see it change. So now its friction is 0.10, and even the mass change as well. So let's play it, and you'll see a difference. So you see it kind of like skid on down. Now, you can also change how the other shapes are, how the ramp is. So if we were to change this to ice, and let's change this to steel, so we're kind of mimicking like an actual car, how it would drive on a road. Okay, so it kind of like slid on down a little bit. So this is a cool thing about the sim lab. It creates like an environment where you can kind of test out your creations in like a real life experience. Or if you wanted to build them in such a way, because there is an option on here. So if you were to take this and actually build it with wood, it's kind of mimics what it would look like. And say your ramp, or say the ramp was wood, and we can go back and say this is plastic because it'll print out in plastic. And let's change the top of the ramp to wood. And we can hit play. So it's kind of showing you a demonstration of how that would look like in real time. And I will show you what someone has actually designed a whole track with 4 different derby cars, and you can try that on TinkerCAD as well to see how that all works. But for now, this is a derby car, and whenever you're ready to have it printed out, like I said, you don't need the wheels, so let me ungroup these, and you can actually delete your wheels, and I will print out this part of the car and give you some actual metal axles and some plastic wheels to go along with it. If you wanted to try out the derby car I made last year, give it a go. It's still online under our TinkerCAD playlist, so check it out. It is based off an idea I have from the Mario Party Racing. So you could try that one as well, or you can just stick to using this one, but then find all your unique shapes and add some unique designs to your basic car. So thank you for watching. I hope you have fun making the derby car and playing with the SimLab.